Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring Nickyboy in our top right corner playing our red Zerg, and in the bottom right we have JustinBieber, our blue Protoss. Both players are in Masters. We're on Condemned Ridge, I believe. Condemned Ridge, and it's one of the newer maps. I like this map. It's got this weird, funky little third exposure thing. You know, they always make the third a little bit harder to keep. Just because it's so wide open, just because it's exposed, and what they did this time was make it so there's no debris at all in between. There's no place to hide armies. There's no place to chop up death balls or anything like that. But you do have this high ground, and I've seen some really wicked play where a pylon was placed up top, and he warped down some sentries whenever the Zerglings were taking that out, double force fielded. All of the Zerg army was trapped up top, while the main Protoss army just absolutely sacked the main base. It was incredible. It was a great play. Yeah, that's basically that. This is going to be a good play too. I mean, both players are in Masters. The pylon placement from JustinBieber is telling me it's going to be a Forge fast expand, totally standard versus Zerg, especially whenever the map is of this size. Nickyboy has not thrown down a spawning pool just yet, which leads me to believe that he's going to go for a 15 hatch followed by a hit 15 pool, but you never know. You never know, especially with these Masters. They're so full of shenanigans. First drones heading off in the right direction. Overlord unfortunately was heading off in the wrong one, but now that he's identified that there is indeed no base here, he's going to be heading off down to the bottom left. Probably as soon as the drone scouts this pylon and Forge being thrown down, the Overlord's going to reposition its direction and head on down to JustinBieber's real base. Hatchery is being started by Nickyboy though, and so the two bases will be going up for both players. Probably going to see more of an eco style of things, but quite a lot of money has been banked waiting for that 400 minerals just so that JustinBieber can throw down the first Nexus down on the low ground. Forge is almost done. Factor in, there goes the first, second, and third pylon. Yeah, this is tight. This is totally tight, which is why you usually see the supply depots down on the bottom ground, kind of neutral supply depot. We're going to see how fast Nickyboy reacts, pulling every single one of his drones, getting them synced up. He's right-clicking down on all the mineral patches to get them kind of bunched up around that first pylon, and then all the drones do simultaneous damage against that middle one, which makes them do significantly more DPS to that pylon. It finally does go down a little bit of a gap, allows them to get a good surround on all of the photon cannons. These two are definitely going to go down. That third one, oh, it's a pylon, it's not a photon cannon. He might have been able to finish one of them if he had three keyed up rather than a third pylon there, but no, it's not going to happen. I think this is going to fail with two drones on that pylon, that probe. He's going to go down probably. He gets surrounded and pinched between the two. Oh, some nice control there by JustinBieber, right-clicking on one of the mineral patches to get it to go through those drones. But as things are now, every single one of the attacking structures has gone down. He's throwing down another pylon, but no, that doesn't succeed in blocking off those drones before they can return to mine again at the home base. Finally, this drone, whoa, no, oh, that probe is still barely alive. Nickyboy, catch him. JustinBieber doing a really good job with that probe, finally getting back all of his shields, but Nickyboy is definitely stabilized, 19 to 17, and you know how many minerals 500 minerals were lost during that rush, throwing down a sacrificial photon cannon there, but he knows that's going to get canceled down, just pulling off 4 drones. That shows you just how calmly Nickyboy is handling with this pressure. It looks like he's trying to like wedge them off into a corner. But on the back of this, JustinBieber, you know, he's taking his Nexus down on the ground and he hasn't saturated it just yet, but it looks like he's trying once again with a single photon cannon. Is there enough room to get 2 photon cannons down by the low side? They're not within range of the hatchery, so he's just going to let these finish, I think. There is no gap. I thought maybe those drones were coming in for the gap to crush that probe. Nickyboy doing a really clever thing, which is transferring all of his workers back. He won't produce any more workers from the upper main. All the workers will be coming down from this hatchery so that they don't have to walk past the photon cannon. It looks like one of the photon cannons was canceled by JustinBieber so that the other one can be taken down, and then maybe this probe's going to be returning home, because I really don't see how much more damage can be done by JustinBieber just with photon cannons alone. He really needs to get his defense up now that the third is being built by Nickyboy. We can see some aggression will be coming out shortly. Building a pylon up on the high ground, but I can't imagine that's going to be very successful. Maybe he could throw down another photon cannon, maybe just within range of that spawning pool, but nothing else. getting 1 or 2 shots off with the photon cannon to take out those drones. That's going to be something that Nickyboy's going to have to react to. You can see that both hatcheries are rallied to the upper mineral patches, and he really needs to change this hatchery so it can start to rally workers to the nearest mineral patches, kind of avoid this walk-off until he gets enough zerglings to crush that photon cannon, or maybe even just wait for roaches, because there's no real pressure at this time. Couple more photon cannons on the bottom, but the queen's going to cover that up. At the same time, the wall off is going to be started by JustinBieber. We can see that that's basically eaten up 8 minutes of time that, you know, JustinBieber has wasted on that stuff. But, you know, he did do a little bit of damage. He definitely kept the Zerg contained and distracted, but he's not really capitalizing on the back of that aggression. At the same time, Nickyboy is. He's got that layer up. He's got 2 Vespene Geysers tapped already. Oh, 4 of them tapped already, as well as a Roach Warren on the way. Where is that Roach Warren? He's going again. 3 more pylons, and this is not tight, though. There's a little bit of a gap here. He needs to throw down 1 more pylon. But at the same time, this is 1, 2, 300 minerals, which is the same amount of money that Nickyboy has invested in this. There goes 450 of them. And it's just wasted minerals at this point, because, yeah, Nickyboy's going to lose a hatchery, but all those minerals wasted on the hatchery is just, you know, he can just build another hatchery somewhere else, and then all the money wasted on those pylons and the static defenses, they'll get cleaned up sooner or later. It looks like the Zerglings did take out that 1 photon cannon, so that's definitely 300 wasted minerals. Finally, that probe did go down. The Zerglings are now on the field. They're going to be able to clean up all of those pylons, and probably this photon cannon, 1 photon cannon is not really enough to deal with so many Zerglings. Where did they go? Yeah, maybe enough. 5 Zerglings. It's an even match. Probably in the favor of the photon cannon, just because the Zerglings have to go so far around. But on the back of this, we got speed being finished. Roach Warren's all out. JustinBieber is raging, and he's in a bad spot. I mean, he's on 2 bases. His probe count is neck and neck, but Nickyboy's up 1 base, and he's going to be mining from that base. You can see that the mineral income is definitely in his favor, even though he's not up on probe count. First couple of speedlings will be poking out, but this wall off is complete. The single zealot will be able to hold definitely long enough for the handful of photon cannons now being built for real at home to pay for themselves. That zealot, actually, that zealot's kind of surrounded, so he goes down. The misplacement by the probe, unfortunately, with only a handful of Zerglings left, they're going to be cleaned up by all the probes being pulled, but you know, those probes really need to be mining. They really need for JustinBieber to make a bunch of money so he can get back into the swing of things. Roaches clean up the single photon cannon now. Nickyboy basically has control of his entire base once again. He's really got to do something about those pylons, though. He's got more important things to do with his units. And the saturation at the 3rd is looking pretty nice. I mean, still 43 over 93, but Nickyboy's spending a lot of money on upgrades for his roaches. He's got Glial Reconstitution coming out, as well as more than a handful of roaches already out on the field. 12 of them. My goodness, is that? Yeah, that's not tunneling claws. I always get confused. 2 more gas for Nickyboy. And you know what? Nickyboy's got a pretty good economy. I mean, 51 harvesters, definitely a thumping economy. He's got quite a lot of money. Research is definitely behind. The Cybernetics Core hasn't even finished with Warp Gate Tech at the 12-minute mark. 3 gateways up on the high ground, throwing down a robotics facility back at the main. And it looks like the Zerglings have come back home for Nickyboy to finally clean up that. And will that supply block him? No, he's got plenty of supply. Plenty of supply. When Nickyboy finishes out, it does supply block him. My goodness. I guess he's just producing so many drones so quickly. Warping the 3 gateways into the... by drones, I mean probes. 3 gateways into Warp Gate. He's getting the Twilight Council Forge and Robotics Facility. The first Forge is halfway done with +1 weapons. Still just a single Zealot out on the field, though. I mean, that's not a very intimidating force with 12 Roaches out. They'll have a hard time dealing with all those photon cannons. But I think he's correctly identified the weak spot. This Forge is well away from these 2 photon cannons. We're only going to be taking 1 or 2 damage from the single photon cannon at a time. So many roaches battling down the hatches. Will it finish before the Forge goes down? No, the Forge goes down before +1 is done. A major blow to JustinBieber. He needed that upgrade desperately. We don't see any upgrades besides normal upgrades, not like weapon upgrades, coming for Nickyboy. He's got the Tunneling Claws, though, as well as Burrow, which will be absolutely devastating because I don't think that... no, that's tight. That is tight. This is a tight wall off, but those roaches will be able to fit right up here and crush this in short order while only taking 1 damage from the photon cannon at one time. dotting his I's, crossing his T's. Nickyboy's getting up the static defenses back at home, detection as well as a spine, just in case some drop play, which is not a bad idea one bit. I mean, the robotics facility has been done for a while now. He's got an immortal on the way to deal with those roaches, but a warp prism really could help JustinBieber out. I mean, he could do some major harassment. He has multiple gateways on the way. He's going to be doing something about all that money he's got left over. I mean, 1,600 resources. That is quite a lot of zealots that he could just warp with a warp prism in the mineral line and keep Nickyboy contained, keep him on the back foot so that JustinBieber can buy a little bit more time to get up the tech that he needs to deal with these roaches. But these roaches are flirting with death right now. They're going to be pushing up, going to be poking down here on the bottom side, maybe over on the right side just to see what is over there. But with the immortal and so many photon cannons, these roaches will be limited in the amount of damage that they can actually do. A ridiculous number of overseers. Maybe he's expecting some sort of DT play, and you know what, if you get cheese at the start, definitely suspect cheese later on. Those roaches doing a fantastic amount of damage to the sentries that have been exposed. Everything is going to go down. Those roaches buried. He's buried. That was definitely a misclick. There was no BM there one bit. Those roaches are absolutely crushing JustinBieber's static defenses, absolutely destroying him. My last sounds so sinister. I was running earlier and it's very, very cold and my throat is very scratchy. But I think this game is definitely over. I mean, 150 over 72 supply. There's not a lot that JustinBieber can do. It looks like he will hold here for now, but Nickyboy can just continually produce roaches. I mean, here comes another huge swell of roaches, another 14 on the way. JustinBieber is going to be crushed in a matter of moments. So many roaches are just standing by at the bottom of the ramp waiting to be pulled in, and they're just going to be taking down infrastructure after infrastructure. Contaminate on all of those warp gates. He'd love to be able to spend all this money. I mean, look at us, so many minerals he has left, but he's only got one harvester on one of the gas, just not enough gas to get out the units he needs, and what he needs is immortals and he needs stalkers. Another contaminate just for good measure on the warp gate, but the roaches are really doing the most damage here, beginning to go to work on the pros, which are being pulled off the line. It looks like they're not doing any damage though. They're just kind of waiting on the north side of the natural expansion. Roaches pushing up into the high ground once Colossus is done, but that Colossus is going to get overrun by all those roaches. Willie barely stays out of range, but another swell of roaches are waiting on the ramp just to be let in. Looks like extended thermal lances is done, so the Colossus with proper micro could survive for up to 5 seconds, but no, it does fall. JustinBieber playing it classy, taps out, you know, now that his cheese has failed. But you know, it's not. I just don't like how that you can do that. I really do not like how you can do that, and it's hats off to Nickyboy for knowing the proper way to deal with that. I'm very, very thankful that there is a proper way to deal with it, because it was incredibly broken for time being, just not being able to deal with that sort of aggression of Protoss on these types of bases. So hats off to Nickyboy for doing that. JustinBieber, better luck next time. Keep cheesing. It's a fun way to play, and obviously it's better for you if you're a player, if you're gonna do stuff like Nickyboy where you're following a traditional build, because that's the sort of thing that'll win you tournaments. But it's nice to have cheese in the back pocket that you can pull out when it's a best of 3 and you're absolutely out of ideas and you have to win this game. I have to win your heart, I'm not going to lie, because I'd love for you guys to watch more of my replays. If you have a game you want me to cast, you could PM me here or on Reddit. One way or another, I will see you guys later. I am Ibigandscary. Bye.